what are the New Orleans Saints going to do at quarterback? And that is why we go to Louisiana to bring in Mike Triplett, who covers the Saints for ESPN. Mike, we appreciate the time. Thank you so much for joining us. Brave new world in the Big Easy as the Saints find themselves with a quarterback controversy for the first time in 15 years. Who do you see starting for the New Orleans Saints in Week 1 against the Green Bay Packers? Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill?
Well, you're right. I'm not used to this. I haven't covered one of these quarterback battles, and I've been here for 17 years. But, look, all along I've given a slight edge to Jameis Winston. Just because, look, he's got a higher upside as a former number 1 overall pick. He's actually younger. He's 27. Taysom Hill's about to turn 31 later this month. And if Jameis Winston does win the job, then Taysom Hill can continue to play running back, receiver, tight end, a lot of positions the Saints need in this offense right now. But Jameis Winston is going to have to earn it. We know the Saints like Taysom Hill. They turned to him in a playoff race last year to start for 4 games. So Jameis Winston is going to have to prove he really did learn all those things he said under Drew Brees and Sean Payton about being smarter, being a better decision maker, obviously cutting down on those turnovers. So far, only 6 days into training camp, it looks like he's doing some of those things. He threw his first interception today, but he's been really efficient so far early in camp.
Mike, first and foremost, congratulations on outlasting Hall of Famer Drew Brees on the New Orleans beat. That, my friend, is very impressive. Availability is oftentimes the best ability, and you've been available for 17 years down there by the Bayou.
I'll take it.
Unfortunately, whoever's playing quarterback for the Saints, whether it's Hill or Jameis, will not have the best wide receiver on the roster available to start the season. Michael Thomas having that ankle surgery in June. Head scratcher. Sean Payton has made some comments about it, but it looks like he's going to miss at least the start of this NFL season. So from a fantasy perspective, because that's what I like, I need to know from you who you think is most likely to soak up those targets, those opportunities that Thomas will leave on the field while he's on the shelf.
Opportunity is absolutely the right word there. It's hard to go all in and say you got to get Traquan Smith on your fantasy roster. You have to get Marquez Calloway on your fantasy roster. Receiver, you know, it's such a deep position. In season-long drafts, those guys will have huge value probably in daily leagues. Or if you're in deeper fantasy leagues, not a bad play at the end of your bench. You know, we haven't seen Traquan Smith do it consistently. We've seen flashes from him, though. And now he's going to get every opportunity to be that number 1 receiver as long as Michael Thomas is out. And the number 2 receiver when Michael Thomas comes back. He's shown big playability. Now he just has to show he can do it consistently. Marquez Calloway was an undrafted rookie last year. They needed him for 1 game, and he came through with 8 catches for 75 yards. He's going to have an opportunity to do that maybe on a weekly basis this year. So at least a lot of value, just a lot of uncertainty with those guys. And then a lot of buzz around second-year tight end Adam Troutman. Again, he only had 15 catches last year, but he got better as the season went along, and he's going to have nothing but opportunity this year. He's also a good blocker, which will keep him on the field.
Mike Triplett, he's been covering the Saints for 17 years, joining us here on Bet. Mike, we appreciate the time. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you.
All right, let's rock and roll. Now, we've been rolling out a lot of props that we like for the upcoming NFL season, passing props, rushing props, receiving props, and this is generally where we would do some Saints passing props, but they are off the board because of the aforementioned quarterback controversy in New Orleans. So, what we do have are futures, the season win total, and a prop on whether or not the Saints will make the playoffs. The win total is 9. Will the Saints win more or fewer than 9 games? The make or miss the playoffs, yes to get into the playoffs, plus 105, small underdog. No, meaning they would miss the playoffs, minus 125. So give me both. Start with the win total. Would you play over or under? And do you see the team getting to the postseason?
So I am lightly leaning towards the under 9 wins. And
lightly, huh?
Lightly leaning. Okay, again, the opposite of the heavy load of pork belly I had this morning. A light lean on the under 9 wins. So what correlates with that, Joe? I don't think they're going to win 8 or 9 games and get into the postseason. That would be a no on the NFL playoffs. So those two correlated together is kind of how I see the Saints season going. The reason why, let's start with this. When I look at the playoff picture in the NFC, there's going to be a division champion from each division. So that's 4 right there.
Normally how they do it.
Exactly. I think 2 more NFC West teams get in.
Yes.
Of all 4, I think 3 NFC West teams get in. And then the NFC North, now that Aaron Rodgers is there, I think they'll win that division. And Minnesota, a team we're both high on, is going to be a wild card type team. So I think the South and the East only get their division winners in. And in the South, likely going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers unless something happens to Tom Brady. So I'm going to play no on the playoffs and a slight lean under 9 wins, correlating to how I see the playoff picture playing out in the NFC.
I may not have consumed the same amount of bacon as this guy did this morning, but we are thinking like two guys who have shared meals for quite some time. I agree with you that they're going to miss the playoffs. I am, however, going to play the under on the win total, but I'm going to do it at a different price. We gave you the win total of 9, which is at Caesars, New Jersey. If you look here in Vegas, it's 9.5. Now, it's not something I love, but I would play the under because I only see the Saints favored in 9 of 17 games this season. But get this, I have them favored of more than 3 points only 3 times. So there's going to be a lot of tight point spreads. Now, run that back against what we saw last year. This coming year, currently favored by more than 3 points only 3 times. Last year, the Saints were favored by more than 3 points 11 times in 16 games. That's a big, big drop-off. When it comes to missing the playoffs, a lot of it has to do with exactly what you just laid out. The fact that Tampa's going to win the division, and you're going to need a wild card spot in a loaded NFC. The Michael Thomas injury is huge. First 3 weeks of the season, you're going to be an underdog against Green Bay in week 1. You're going to be a small favorite against Carolina in week 2, and then an underdog at New England in week 3. You can start 1 and 2 in that. And with the leadership void of Drew Brees leaving and the rift between Peyton and Thomas, things could get ugly in that locker room. Keep that in mind. That's where I'm going to be this season.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.